All right. Thank you. Thank you. Mhm. So thank you so much for joining in this meditation. So we continue in this tape group. We continue with an introduction to the tape, and not that the tape doesn't speak for itself, but it's just more like a warming up to listen, just like the meditation is, of course. So it's how's it going? Actually, you should start with that. How's it going? So you individually have an experience. How is your experience? Did you catch a glimpse of stillness, of light, of love, of inspiration? How's it going? So we practice this. We are on this path. We get very specific instructions, like today too, in the Essentials for Infinite Way Workers. It is a very specific instruction, and at the same time, it is just about you. It is not something you're not that is being instructed, and the instruction is not just an instruction. So this is what we come up against, say, many times, is like, this is all about you. It's not about anyone else. It's not about infinite way workers somewhere in the country or whatever. They don't know. They're not there. So this is about you, and that makes it very specific and very essential and very interesting. It is not just, see, instructions would be do this, 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 and then you're fine, and then you're a worker, an infinite way worker. Use your diploma and go ahead and do what you need to do. That is not how it works. So this teaching and receiving the message, so to speak, is working in a totally different way. And you have discovered that already. So let me take a sip of tea. So it is different than teaching of the world, completely different. So this is about, say, attaining vision, Christ vision, to come to the place where you actually see through the eyes of Christ and recognize yourself in everyone and everything. So you're being trained, so to speak, you're being trained in order to come to the recognition that there's no you and something else. And that is the training, that is the instruction, in fact. And the instruction is not by your doing. So that makes it also different. It's like, this is not by your doing. Your perseverance, your determination and perseverance are very, say, necessary to keep focusing, to keep reprioritizing. But it is your desire. What do you want? That is going to be your, say, your master in that sense, your compass. What is it that you want? What is it that you want? Like, what you want, you will get fulfilled. What you want, you will see. What you want is what you experience. And you might not always recognize that as the thing that you want, but actually you're asking for it. That's why it's happening. So this is, sure, this looks like psychology, but actually it isn't. So it is a different way of coming to the place where you recognize your Christhood. And that is, say, the Christhood doesn't need to be defined. It doesn't need to be learned in that sense. No, it is more like, how willing are you to let everything else be undone, to let everything else go, or to reprioritize? How willing are you to reprioritize, like to make different priorities? What comes first? So what do you do when you suddenly come into a situation where you say, where there's a certain intensity of feelings, of emotions. When it gets really intense, what do you do in a case like that? So are you trusting your thoughts and letting those guide you, or are you willing to say to ask for help or to pick up your favorite book and start reading a spiritual message or a spiritual say exercise? How willing are you to turn within? That's where it comes down to. That's where you get the result from in your daily experience. And that is not a judgment. It is not like, if you do this, then you're going to be happy kind of reciprocity. Now, this is different. So it's like, how much do you want to, say, have experiences of your Christhood? How much do you want that? How many times are you letting that come back to you, and keeping that as your priority? And Joel says this is the way you learn. You see this in the text of in the talk too. It's like spiritual understanding goes step by step, slowly but certainly. You come from a long way, and slowly but certainly you come to the place where you actually start to be happy that everything else fell away. You become happy when your world falls apart, in that sense, or you allow that to occur to you. That like truth literally takes over for a moment. You have an experience of that. Suddenly it's like, oh yes, of course, I just totally forgot how incredible that is, to feel grace, to feel a spark of light in you, to feel, something that has nothing to do with this world. How great is that? So when you pick up another worldly thought again, then that might slip away, that might like fade into oblivion for just a moment, and there you are, back into your humanhood again, and so you keep on practicing. So like we said, step by step you end up in the place where you start to enjoy the fact that you are remembering, and you become willing to do that more. So this is one of the ways to come to this say place where the infinite way work, or whatever spiritual work you want to name. It's like whenever that's how you will end up there. It goes by your allowing that change to occur to you. So in our text, in our transcript that you got with this class, you see on page 6 and 7 there's some things that I love to bring in just as an extra. Like, look at this, what Joel is talking about. It's amazing. Or you see that he talks about his, say, teachership again, and how his students are in the first part of the talk. And so he takes a lot of time for that in his class. I'm always amazed a bit by that. It's like, well, here's the invitation for direct experience, and that is what we offer. That is what is happening. And that is the offering, literally. So let's stay right there. But Joel does this in a different way. So he also brings in how this evolves in his teachership, in his mastership, if you want. Like how this evolves and how it comes back. So he gives descriptions of his students, of the way that they should work or shouldn't work. And so one other thing that comes to mind when I think about like what is really essential in say doing the work, because the work is still your work. This is about you, as I said. So another thing that comes up when I read through this is too that Joel doesn't mention it literally, but so there's in fact a great honesty being asked. It's like there's a great honesty being asked of where do you find yourself? No, you don't need to fight yourself, but where are you in your mind? What is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to experience? It's like, are you willing to be open and honest about that? It's like, what is going on in your life? How does it look? What are the experiences you have? Not that you necessarily need to say talk about these experiences, but it's more like, how willing are you to openly look at it for yourself? And so, yeah, this is really helpful when you want to come into the place where you start to remember your Christhood. You know, you will have to be you have to be honest with yourself in a totally different and deeper way than ever before. And slowly but certainly you come to that place. That's also interesting. So everything, in fact, is helping you to come to that place. Like you start to discover that you don't want to feel misery. Like you don't want to slide down into darkness, so to speak. You start to not want to do that anymore. So you pick up the book quicker than ever before, or you start to pray for a moment, or become still. And you become more and more willing to do that, because the world, and say your position, your relationship with the world, can become very painful. You know, it can become dissatisfying, of course. I mean, that's so it's a discovery to see, like, oh, I was still looking for that. Oh my God, I was still looking for the world to give me something that would fulfill me. So being honest about that in a way that you allow yourself, in fact, to let your world, say, be turned upside down, is or at least losing the grip upon your ideas about it, is going to be so helpful in the undoing, in the say opening up for the Christ experience. So that and other things will come up in the talk today. So we will start listening to it after 15 minutes or so, and say on page 7 and 8. I found so many, parts that are so interesting. So one of them is about death, and I want to read that to you. Oh yeah, on page 6. So this is the 1956 Chicago private class. On page 6 of the transcript. Death never comes to the illumined. I can tell you that. Death is never known by anyone who perceives the nature of God. They may walk out of this world, certainly. Who wants to stay here forever? There must be greener pastures. There must be higher realms of consciousness, certainly. We all walk on, we all walk out. Everyone has. And a man like Jesus, with his tremendous vision, walked out at least at 33 years of age. So it's no disgrace to die young. Well, there's no death. So you see, life doesn't mean longevity. This is the next sentence. Life doesn't mean longevity. Life means spiritual development, like music. Music doesn't mean practicing for 20 years. It means a degree of musical awareness. And if you're divinely inspired, it can come overnight. It can come in a day. There have been concerts, I love these examples. There have been concerts, pianists and violinists of 3 years of age, of 8 years of age, 10 years of age. It wasn't a matter of time. It was a matter of spiritual evolution. And so it is with us. We don't have to stay here 60, 70, 80, 90 years. And all we have to be concerned with is our spiritual development. And then our time comes to walk, and let's walk off. What would keep you here? If you don't need to be here, why would you want to be here? So I love this part. This is a very specific part in the whole talk where Joel really puts something down. I love that what he shares, and I love it in the way because see the greatest thing with the human being of thinking as a human being is, well, death is the thing that you really don't want. You want to keep that away as long as possible. So, yeah, no, it's a real threat when it comes up. And at the same time, it is actually the thing that you come here for on this planet. Like you come here to die. If you take a look at it, you come here to die as a human being, then you actually fulfill your purpose. You're finally done with it. It's like you fulfill that what you need to do here. You come here, you live here some time, and then you die. That is the human perspective that you got raised up with. So now looking at the way that that we're I just got distracted. So looking at this in the way of I lost my train of thought. Well, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So it's great that everyone's welcome to show up in the class whenever they want, absolutely. So it is distracting. That's why it's happening to me. But that's perfect too. You know, it will work out some way too. So I was sharing about death and longevity, the human perspective of being born, living here some time, and then dying. So you actually you fulfill your task as a human being on this planet, is what I shared. So that's not Christ's vision. So Jesus didn't die. He resurrected. He resurrected. So he proved, literally, there was no death. There is no such thing as death as we know it, as humans know it. So here is the new discovery for you. See, and this is in your conversations, in your way of responding to others, so to speak, in your conversations that you have with your brother. Be aware of this. Like, wait a minute. Death is not what it seems. No, wait a minute. No. I want to see this right. So I don't want to confirm for myself the idea of death, that there's such a thing as death, and that it would be something to be afraid of to happen. It's like, no, that's not it either. It's like death in itself, whatever that idea is, will never happen to you. This is what I share a lot. Like, it will not happen to you. What you think happens when somebody appears to die is not what is going on. Like, that is your vision. It's the way that you see it, that you think is going on, that you think is the drama that takes place. So, say, letting that fall apart, in fact, you come to the place like, if I'm consciousness, that continues. Like we just meditated too. It's like this is all beyond time, into eternity. This has nothing to do with time. It has nothing to do with the ideas that this world appears to teach. It has nothing to do with that. So, and this is essential to realize. If you accept one part of this death idea that you held on to as a human being, then you will not experience the Christ in you. Like, that's how simple it is. It just, and that's not a threat of any kind. No, it's just that you know that it works that way. You pick up one idea that you value here, and you find yourself here. You find yourself in this world. You let go of these ideas and allow that to, in fact, transcend. You see that by you picking up one more idea of the world, you seem to be back here. Otherwise, you would not be here. You would have an experience of light and love and extension. So this is good to remember and to keep in mind when practicing, when, say, looking at yourself and what is occurring. Why am I not experiencing this, or why am I not experiencing that? Well, you're just one thought away of it. You just need to let go of that last thought that you hold on to too. Just let it go. That's the only way to discover the, say, your Christ experience. So these are essentials to infinite way workers. I have no idea what an infinite way worker is. I really never met one either. I tried to get in touch with them, but it didn't work out. So really interesting. There was some other part that I love to share. Let me see. Okay, so why is meditation the important thing in our lives? That's one of the questions that Joel raises on page 7. It is because... Oh, there's some more people waiting. So come on in. Sorry for letting you wait outside. So now, why is meditation the important thing in our lives? Joel asks. It is because that every individual on the face of the globe is endowed with a faculty that is unknown to the human world. It is, this won't describe it, it is a spiritual faculty. It is above the faculty of the intellect. It is even above the faculty of intuition. Intuition is one facet of the higher faculty. In the infinite way, I have referred to it as soul faculties, faculties of the soul. Now your intelligence, your intellect, your knowledge, really, these are the products of the faculty of mind. But beyond that is the faculty of the soul, which operates intuitively and through intuition. But intuition is only one of its little facets. So I'm not going to spoil everything. So this is also an interesting part. So you'll see, and we're going to start to listen to it in say in 10 minutes or so. We'll listen to the tape. You see these aspects are coming in. It's like, why is meditation so important? Oh, it's not just to become calm. No, it is actually to come in touch with your true essence, right? And this true essence is beyond your intellect, beyond all these, say, highly evaluated aspects. This has to do with the faculty of the soul, of that what always shines in you, that what is pure and innocent and whole and perfect in you. You take it with you wherever you go. It is right here. It doesn't go anywhere. But now you allow, in the meditation, you allow that to come into your awareness, just like we did in the meditation. Like it's a moment now. It has nothing to do with time. It goes into, like it's a moment, an eternal moment.